Okay, so another chilly morning in the church hall. Let's do some warm-ups. Okay, so when we're doing the warm-ups, which I'm keeping my, what do you call this? Oh, a jumper? Sweater, jumper, fleece, hoodie. I'm keeping my hoodie on because it's so cold, but it is a bit warmer than it was last week. So keeping the core nice and controlled so that the back is upright. So the worst thing you could do is do this. And I like the way that Karen's doing it. Nice lift. Very elegant. So actually moving the elbows to the middle. So rather than watch, rather than that, actually going, hold on, see if I can do it, to there. So you lift. Lovely. And then rotate at the hip joints. And the other way. And then from side to side. And a bit shaking out, a bit of backstroke whilst we're doing that. And then forward. So Irina, Elena and I have been going swimming, haven't we? And I think that's actually improving my shoulder joints. I used to swim regularly and then, you know, just got out of the habit, side to side. Okay, good. And then the hip rotations, you can hang on to something if you need to. And then the other way, other side, sorry. So minimum I would do 3 one way and 3 the other. Just to get that joint nice and open, and then rotate your ankle joints. So I tend to try and rotate the ankle joints whenever I get a chance in yoga. And let me see, so Monday's class that I was teaching, which is on YouTube, we were using the sun salute as a skeleton for moving on to other poses. So does that sound like a little thing we could just, well, I'm not going to do the whole class, that was a mega strenuous class, wasn't it? But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the skeleton to start doing poses to help close this right sacro-iliac joint for you, and also to get the joints fully lubricated. So let's get down to the work. Oh, I think I might need my socks off. So standing on your mat in the mountain pose, if you could. Okay, so the feet underneath the hip joint, like so, and steadying out, then the hands hang very heavy downwards, and the crown of the head lifts. Pause in the mountain just for a moment. Okay, so take the attention into this lower back area here, where the sacro-iliac joints are here. And many of us sit exaggeratedly back facing, or back arching, or slumped. Slumped is the worst you could do because it bulges the discs here in the spine, and it also separates the joint where the sacro-iliac joint is, the way it joins to the pelvis. So put your hands there for a moment. Okay, lovely. So holding on to there, I just want you to push forward. So like you're doing a back arch, just push forward, closing that joint up and looking upwards to the heavens. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Lovely. And see if you can go a bit further by pushing the front of the pelvis forward and securing at the back with your hands or hands, and opening the front area of the throat here Okay, good. And then because that's the back arch, just bend the knees for a moment, come down onto the knees with the hands. Pause, and then drop a bit further. So there's quite a generous bend in the knees and lowering down towards the ground. So you can do it with the feet hip joint width apart or wider, just comfortably coming forward. But this is a contraindicated pose for lower backache and for sacro-iliac opening problems. Hang on to the elbows for a moment, letting the top of the spine, the shoulder blades and the shoulders come down, just dropping forward. Generously bent knees because we're just starting our practice. You can swing a little from side to side if you feel comfortable. There we go. So I've noticed in my videos that at the beginning I'm quite kind of authoritative and we'll do this and then we'll do that, and then as the yoga progresses my voice gets softer and softer. Okay, from there bend a bit further, pretend we're sitting on an imaginary stool, so low crouch. Okay, and I just want you to go one side and the other side with clasped hands and the palms facing away from you, if you can. If you can't do that, don't worry about it. Like this, Annie, can you see? Yeah. Just beginning to get some twisting into that spine. Okay, and then push to come up. Shake out the legs, because they probably found that a little bit hard work. Okay, standing at the front of your mat. Breathing in, going up. Breathing out, coming down to the heart. Lovely. Pause for a moment. Breathe in, up and looking up to the heavens, arching back. So that's great for closing around the pelvis. Breathing out, coming down, but let's do it soft. We're not coming all the way down at this moment. We're bending the knees into a squat. Okay, good. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, straighten the knees a little, but not to total straight towards the floor. Drop the chin, head, chin to chest. Opening the shoulder blades. Lovely. And then bend the knees further and into Utkatasana, like so. Okay. Lovely. Looking up through the palms of the hands and checking that your feet aren't splayed out and your knees going to the middle, like so. That would be really dangerous for the hinge joint, which is a fragile joint, really. Okay, then straightening up and breathing out, going down again. Soften the knees, going down, chin to chest. And then step the left foot back. Okay, and then the way you know if your left foot is back enough is if you bend the knee. If your knee is going past your toes, we are going to damage the knee joint. So you have to move your foot more forward so it doesn't go past the toes. Lovely. So in this pose, we're looking up and bring the knee up off the ground if you can. If you're female and your chest is getting in the way, then your chest to the inside of the knee. Looking up, the starter position. And then straighten the front knee into the really strong forward bend. And back to bent knee and looking forward. Okay. This is for when people think yoga isn't strenuous. I do poses like this. Back to straight legs. Bend the front knee. Looking up. So you've got a choice. If you're getting tired, you can put the knee on the ground. Straighten. Breathing out. Breathing in. Starter position. Okay. Breathing out. Straighten. Breathing in. Starter position. Lovely. So the left foot goes back. That's really helping this eye area. Okay, and then go back to starter position, looking forward, and think, what do I want to do next? Well, but definitely want to get out of this pose. So move your other foot back and let's go into downward facing dog. So another way to help sacro-iliac joints is if you lift the right leg here upwards, it will start to help to close that joint. And also, you can do this, if it's allowed, you can look to the right. So turn the pelvis to looking to the right. So Karen, that's really closing that joint. Can you feel it? And Teresa, can you feel it? Yeah. Okay, and then back to normal standard leg lift, and now we're facing backward. And then that foot, feet down, pause. Take the left foot up. And then turn and pelvis facing the wall. The other side of the room. Actually looking to the left. And then back to normal leg lift. And down. And then because we've been on our wrists for a long time, I seriously recommend bending the knees, flattening the feet, and just pausing and doing some wrist rotations there. So what I'm trying to teach you is that you can use the skeleton of the sun's glute, and then as you go along, you just add more poses. So we're basically going along that format of sun salutation, but we're adding whatever sort of feels just right for us in that particular yoga practice. So remember, if your wrists hurt when you're doing downward facing dog, it really helps to do this, to roll your mat up and have the heel of the hand on the mat and the fingers on the floor. It makes that angle on the wrist less severe and more comfortable. Okay, so there we were, having a rest. And what I'd like you to do is move the hands forward, go back into downward facing dog, and then into plank. Okay, and just pause there for a minute, and just see if you can raise each foot up from plank, or whether that's going to feel too hard. So I'm probably doing more of a little dog than a plank. So the line should be, if possible, even from feet, ankles to crown of the head. Then knees down to the floor, drop the feet flat, coming down. And resting with the forehead on the floor and the elbows in. Oh, isn't it nice to rest? And I thoroughly encourage you to rest in your yoga practice. If you're rushing too much from one pose to the other, it can feel just hectic and rather unkind as well to the body. So, from there, if we could take the nose along the mat away from you and chin along the mat and up into the cobra, looking up. So this one is excellent for closing the sacro-iliac joints. You'll probably feel it. And you can even exacerbate it by pushing the pelvis down into the ground at the same time. Yeah. The shoulders down and the shoulder blades down towards your waist. Lovely. And then, coming back, I'd like you to be in the table for a moment, but swinging backwards and forwards. So it's quite a long table. Okay. Lovely. And then tuck the toes under again, going into downward facing dog. So if your sacro-iliac joints are feeling too wide and open, when you go into downward facing dog, just remember you can actually close the joint by lifting the leg on that side and looking to the side. Okay, so I've got my right leg up and I'm looking to the right, closing that joint a bit, and then I can do the other side. That's the sideways dog. Coming back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And then bend the knees. And bring your right foot forward. Go back into starter position, if you can. And again, you can rest the knee on the ground if you wish. And then jump the feet forward. So they're together. So you're here in this forward bend. And I'd like you to pause there a moment. Place your left hand in the middle of your feet, at the front of the feet. Breathe in, right hand up. Breathe out, right hand down. Breathe in, left hand up. Keep breathing. Look up. Drop the head if you can. On the next out breath, left hand down. Hold on to the elbows. Drop a little bit more. Bend the knees distinctly. Right down, right down, right down. Place the hands on the knees. Come up, open into the star. Okay. Holding the star. So you're probably feeling a bit dizzy. If you're feeling very dizzy, you can lower the hands immediately. But if you're doing fine, keeping the star, 6-limb star with tailbone and head also coming away from right in the center core, radiating out. And then hands together, breathe out and down to the heart, forearms parallel to the ground, breathing out and down, and pausing in the mountain for a moment. So far, so good. Breathing into it. Nice and steady, immovable, unshakable, the mountain. Padasana. Okay, and then breathing in, up we go, breathe out, down to the heart again. And then lift the hands up, arching back, looking up to the heavens, pausing there for a moment. Pushing the pelvis slightly forward. If it feels unstable, you can take your hands down to your back as we do the back arch. In fact, I'd recommend it. It's always, if we're staying in it for a long time, it helps to support the lower back, opening the front of the throat. Okay, lovely. And then straightening up the head. And the head lifting, dropping the hands. And let's go into a very gentle tree pose. So with a tree pose, if you place your foot on your knee joint, for example, what we don't want, we never want that knee joint to come out of its hinge operation, this operation, where it's just hinging like that. So if we push on the side too much, it might go out of that hinge joint. So we have to be careful if we place the knee there not to push, or, you know, depends how slippy your yoga trousers are. Maybe it'll go a bit higher. I feel quite slippy this morning. And then arms out, we'll do the nice, gentle oak tree. And you can look at a fixed point on the floor in front of you, it helps not to wobble. And remember, it's non-competitive. It doesn't matter if you need to come down for a moment and rest and go back into the pose wherever it feels comfortable for you. You can even cross the foot onto the thigh. That helps. And then up if you can. If you need a rest, if you need to come down and pause, please do. Lovely, breathing out and down. Let's do the other side since we're here. Left foot. So I notice a lot with my students that they stick the tailbone out a bit in the tree. So in Vriksasana, the tree, we try to just tuck the tailbone under a little, drop the shoulders. Yep. Lovely. And then, and never be, worried about having to bring the foot down to get more balance. Hands up if you can into the long poplar tree. And your right ankle will be working really hard. Okay, breathing out and coming down. So you can stay in that, a minute and a half is good, but 20 seconds is also good. Just breathing in again and coming up, breathing out and coming down. Pausing again. Thumbs pressing against the heart center. Okay, good. And then take the hands back again. And we're doing a back arch. Another back arch. Lifting up, looking up to the heavens. Okay, and then bend the knees into Utkatasana. Just watch your knee joints. Remember, we have to have the knee going over that second toe. We don't want it traveling. We want it going comfortably over and not leaning too much forward. Okay. A nice lift through the arms. Lovely. Palms facing each other. The hands parallel to each other, arms parallel to each other. Hello. Good to see you. And then lifting up and breathing out, coming down. And just swing those knee joints a bit. A little bit concerned about the knee joints. Swing them a bit forward on that hinge joint. Exactly on the hinge joint. Just to get them more lubricated. Good. And then coming back to the front of your mat. And we've done all that work. I just want to go back down into a gentle forward bend. And back down, really gentle so that you're not straining the lower back. Step the right foot back as far as you can go and place the right knee on the ground. Looking forward, starter position. We're looking forward and just check that this knee isn't going over the front knee. It needs to be right above the ankle joint. And then again, if your chest is getting in the way, move it to the inside of the knee. Looking up. Okay. And then lift that back knee off the ground and continue looking up if you can. If that's uncomfortable on the back of the neck, align the neck to the line of the spine. Okay, and then place the knee back on the ground. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift up from there. So the right hand comes up, the left foot is in the front, in front of you. Right hand is up, looking up, breathing into that. Breathing out, coming down, pause, a few breaths. And then the opposite way, left hand comes up. Breathing into it, looking up at the hand if you can. Pushing with the base hand if you can. Lovely. Lift that hand up higher as the heavens, out of the shoulder joint. Great. And then breathing out, coming down, looking down again, pausing, breathing. Lovely. And then take that foot back. And we're going into downward facing dog again. And again, we're going to do the leg lift. So left foot up first this time. And then turn and look to the left and let the foot turn and go to the left as well. So you're actually turning your pelvis to look to the left. Slightly tricky on the knee joint. Maybe give a lot of attention to the right knee joint. Keep it facing forward. Once the tap starts doing something funny and turn to the left, but keep it facing forward. Move the left leg. Lovely. Breathe out and down. This is tiring. Check, are your wrists hurting, or do you need to actually roll up your mat? Check your wrists, and then I'm going to do the other side. Right leg goes up, first of all. Behind you, even pelvis. And then turn and look to the right, keeping the left knee going forward. But let the left knee twist to the right if you can help it. Okay, lovely. Breathing out, coming down, back into downward facing dog. Just walk a little. So you're doing the little step movements, like so. Congratulate yourself, this is hard work. Okay, deep downward facing dog. Into plank. Little leg lifts in plank. See what you can do. I always do sort of what I call the mini dog. Actually, my pelvis is meant to be lower when I do these. Okay, and then when it feels way too much, which was about half an hour ago, coming down, tucking the elbows in, forehead to floor, pause, tops of the feet resting comfortably on the floor. Be grateful for the rest. So nice, let go, breathe. Okay. So as we know, these back arches are so good for closing off the bulging lower back disc and the opening and separating sacro-iliac area. So we're going to do one of my favourites, which is flying locust. So lift the head up, hands swing back, arms down, legs lift, look forward, closing. Can you feel that closing this area here? The more you lift, the more it closes. Push the pelvis into the ground, looking up, breathing into it. We're flying locusts. No, locusts don't buzz, don't they? Okay, lovely. Come down, rest with one arm, forearm on top of the other forearm. Side of the face, resting comfortably, pretend we've got all day to lie here. Nothing to do. So as we lie in, you might feel how the body's working so hard. So many signals to lubricate joints, to get more blood supply into areas where we've opened and closed discs. So basically the very cells of muscles and tendons and ligaments are being renourished, replenished. The very best MOT for the body. And then turn to the opposite cheek. Rest a bit more. And one of the really helpful things when you're doing your own yoga practice is to actually assess now and again, do I need to rest a little bit more? Especially in our very achieving go, go, go culture. Just thinking, well, actually, my body is sorting itself out. I need to step out of the way and stop pushing for a moment. And just allow it to be. And then, hallelujah, another flying locust. So, 3 hands forward and back, and up we fly. Lovely. Drop the shoulders if you can. And the nice thing about flying locust is it doesn't last too long. I never leave you in it for 3 minutes. It always feels a bit long, but breathing into it, breathing into it. Imagine yourself, we're all a bunch, what's a bunch of locusts? Plague, we are plague locusts flying through the air. Lovely. And then bring the hands down into Sphinx for a moment. That's it. And the elbows are just underneath the shoulders. The forearms are parallel. Lovely. I'm going to move back because I don't think Arena can see you very well. Okay, like so. And now push the pelvis into the floor. You feel that? And lift. Lovely. And do that a lot. Remember to do that in your own practice. It's magic. Can you feel what it's doing in there? Wonderful. Because you can just do it like this, nothing's happening. But if you actually do it properly, it's a strong, deeply replenishing pose for around the pelvic area and low back. Okay, and then from there, bring the feet up. And cup the face in the hands. I call it watching TV pose when you were little. Okay, and place the soles of the feet onto the head. Yes, just like that. Yeah, we can bring one up. Encouraging them that way. Okay, good. And then coming back, tucking the hands underneath the shoulders. And the elbows in, not out, in. Lovely. And then coming up into the cobra. So remember, you don't have to have straight arms. When people go straight, they often just put the shoulders up. I'd actually prefer the shoulders down. Move the hands out a little. That's it, that's it. And then just a little, that's it, just there. Great. Hands are probably too far forward. And you could try, yeah, you could try coming down into it and then just going up like a sphinx, see if that helps. Like all sorts of variations on the thing. Actually, I really like that, guys. If you can push your hands forwards, guys, girls and grills, pushing the hands forwards and straightening the arms and dropping the shoulders. Now feel that around the sacro-iliac joints. It's nice, really good. Feels less stress. Magic pose. Definitely. Closing the eyes, lifting the crown of the head upwards, dropping the pelvis into the earth. That's nice. Does it feel good? Yeah, yeah. Really into it. I'm happy with this. It's less stressful on the hands as well, isn't it? So we can do the work without strain. Oh no, I'm liking it so much, I want to stay here. Be warned, come down when you've had enough. And because it's such a strong back arch, when we come down, everything's going to feel slightly, ooh, ooh. So come right down, let the elbows out, and forehead to the ground for a moment. Go into neutral around the pelvis and the lower back. And then slide the hands past the head, tuck the elbows in, and push, come up, and go back. Now do this really slow, because we've been pushing the discs the opposite way, and we now want to do the reverse. So down we go, nice and slow, nice and slow. Okay, so if your sacro-iliac joints, if the lower back area playing up, I would go down onto fists on fists. I wouldn't go down too deep. But if they're fine, really lowering down towards the ground. Elbow coming down towards the feet. Opening out shoulder blade, breathing into the pose. Oh. Okay, and feel the hands on the mat. And I'd just like you to do the backwards and forwards. So technically the hands and the knees are in line as you go backwards and forwards. So hopefully that is beginning to lubricate around the hip joint again some more. And the shoulder joint. And around the pelvis. You might need to bring the knees closer together, depends on, you see, every stage point. Okay, until we get up to halfway, and then tuck the toes under, walk the feet, sorry, hands away from you, and up into downward facing dog again. Again, if you feel that your wrists are compromised, roll your mat. Place the heel of the hand on the mat, fingers on the floor. And then again, lift the right, look to the right. Lift, again, pelvis level. Breathe out and down. Pause there for a moment. You might want to do stepping action just to help pause. And then lift the left, pelvis level to the floor. Then turn pelvis to the left, to the left. Left leg still lifting, look to the left. Breathe out and down. Downward facing dog. Stepping long from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Okay. And then think of moving the right foot forward. So you can put the left knee on the ground. You want to do it the gentle version and bring the right foot forward, or just jump the foot forward. Okay. Looking down for a moment and then looking up. So back in the starting position and push the heel back. And open out the shoulders again. Check that your chest isn't compressed against your knee, because that can hurt. Looking forward, pushing it back, heel back. Okay, and then drop the left hand flat onto the floor, lift the right, yeah. And breathe out and down. Drop the right hand to the floor or to your block, you have a block there, and lift the left. Breathe out and down. And then walk or jump the left foot forward so that you're back in this forward bend. Comfortable forward bend, knees slightly bent, not over stretching with the lower back. You can even rest on the knees if you wish. Make it as gentle as you need it to be. Or as strenuous as you want it to be. You're really following your own body, what you need in this moment. Then bending the knees seriously, elbows on the knees. And we're imagining we're sitting on a stool, back into Utkatasana, the strong pose, the fierce pose. And this, I'll show you, this is the easy Utkatasana, just kind of hanging around. And this is the strong one. So much stronger action. So not just sort of sitting back, but going, bending knees a bit more, arms going more forward, looking up, sitting down deeper. Then breathe in, straighten up. Straightening up is always nice, that's that one. Breathing out and down. Okay, and then, just when you think it was going to get easy, I'd like you to do the dancing Lord Shiva pose. Okay, so basically I threw you into that. The right foot goes out to 2 o'clock. The left foot comes up with the heel quite near the knee joint. Okay, and then the knee that's up, the hand goes up, The other hand points towards the foot. Dancing Lord Shiva pose. So you can have this hand high, forehead really high. Lovely. And then open out. Down. Pause, breathe in. Breathe out. You know what's coming. Breathe in. Breathe out. We do it on the other side. So bend the left knee, so left foot at 10 o'clock. The right foot comes up, right heel pointing and facing towards that knee. Okay, so let's do it straight on so you can see on the video, like so. And then if this knee is up, that hand goes up. And the other hand points towards the foot. Lovely. And then we try, I know it's tricky, to have the torso perpendicular, coming straight up like a lamppost from the floor. Nice knee bend on that left knee. Going straight over the foot, no knee compromising. Lovely. And then to open out, let's go into the star. Okay, check the feet, check the knees. Lift from here, spreading out in 6 directions. 4 limbs, crown of the head, tailbone. Drop the shoulders a little. Relax the face. Breathe in, bring the hands together. Okay, now carefully bend the knees over the second toe. Coming down, down, down into the horse stance. And just gently bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce. So where people go wrong with this one, where I used to go wrong a lot, is I used to sit forward too much, lean forward too much. Basically, like a good equestrian, good horse rider, sitting nice and upright. And actually, believe it or not, the wider you put the feet, the easier this pose is. I'm really stretching here. Just make sure the knees aren't coming into the center. It's really important. Okay, and then pausing and going into sumo wrestler, where you can lean forward a little. And you've got your legs as wide as you can take them. So you might need to go sideways on your mat so you don't slip on the floor. So go a lot, that's it. Go along your mat. That's good. Breathing into it. And then try to look up, forward. Sumo wrestler, so real deep groin stretch. And then you can bend the knee on one side further and straighten the other. And then do the opposite way. So you get that straight on, wide feet, one way, and then the other. But just checking the knee doesn't go traveling, it goes over the second toe. Okay. Hard on the groin? Yeah. It's quite a stretch, and then coming back to the sumo wrestler. Walk the feet in. Up, back into arms up, back arch, looking up. And then, because we're staying here for a moment, release the hands down and protect the pelvis, push into the pelvis. Still looking up. Drop the shoulders, drop shoulder blades down. Open the front torso, breathing into the pose. Open the front throat area where the thyroid and parathyroid are. Voice blocks.